what was that like at the very beginning when you lost your husband? What was that balance? How hard was it to find that balance between work and keeping, you know, energy for yourself?
Yeah, that was really a very hard, dark time. He died so quickly from sepsis. And it was having your best friend, husband, my everything, just poof, gone was, it was like, I didn't even know what to do. I
Right.
couldn't, I love to go to sleep early. I couldn't sleep. I'd stay up all night, like just exhausting myself to fall asleep. I was so used to smelling him next to me and I couldn't. So I would literally get one of his shirts and wrap it around my head and smell him so I could sleep. It was really horrible. Some friends took me to a grief camp at Canyon Ranch, and there was a woman named Rabbi Sherry Hirsch from Los Angeles there giving, this weekend of grief counseling. And she had written a book called We Plan and God Laughs. And that's kind of where I came from, the surf thing. She teaches you, like, and it doesn't need to just be about someone passing away in your life. It could be about any loss in your life, a job, whatever. And there's change is always inevitable. It's always going to be changing. That you can just count on change in life and how you choose to deal with it. I had to pretty much rebuild my whole existence of how I was. I was used to being married and having kids all around, and my kids were all off at college, and then my husband was gone, and it was so weird to just be alone. And I had really never been alone.
Hmm.
For long periods of time. And my son had passed away on Christmas. It'll be 15 years this Christmas. I knew that if I didn't stay super disciplined with, I started working out twice a day. They were like maybe an hour workout, maybe half hour, maybe it just depended. But I worked out twice a day just to keep my head on straight. I would really try and not get too hungry, not get too tired, not too thirsty, I had to really be nice to myself. And it's so interesting how harsh we are on ourselves, how we would never be that harsh on another human. You would
Right.
never treat me the way you treat yourself, and I wouldn't treat you right.
Right.
I, and so I really had to tell myself it was going to be okay. And going through that process of grieving is just catastrophic. It's just so intense and big, and time helps. You don't get over losing someone. You learn to manage it. You learn to create a different life. And I won't lie, it was very hard and painful. And there's still days and times that, during Christmas, yesterday, I'm putting things out and I find his Christmas stocking, and that kind of made me sad, but I was like, no, be happy. That was his, you have to kind of brainwash yourself to go, nope, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just too hard and painful. So it's a difficult, grieving. I don't think it's healthy to not grieve. I think we all need to deal with grief because it's always going to be there until you do. But I think it's important for me to try and grieve in a positive way. I started for my son, Beau, a garden at the Edna McGuire School in Mill Valley with my friend Lisa Zimmer, who was the principal at the time. And because education and nutrition are incredibly important to me, I wanted my son, Beau, remembered. I didn't want him forgotten. And because people don't want to talk about a baby that died.
Right.
And so this outdoor classroom is fantastic. That, kids from kindergarten to 5th grade plant seeds, grow vegetables, pick fruit, see chickens, and then they, cook with the food, and they do science projects in the outdoor classroom. So that makes me incredibly happy. There's a school called the Northern Lights School in Oakland, California, that I started a foundation for my son, Beau, and for Ken Flach Educational Fund and the Baby Beau Educational Fund. So I really want children to have great education. So if we can help honoring my husband and my son by raising money, and for children that are underprivileged going to private school, that makes me very, very happy. My son, Ben, who's Beau's twin, for the last 5 years has been playing in a celebrity golf tournament and raising money for his twin and his dad's foundations. And this past October, he raised $36,000
Wow.
in one day playing golf, which is extraordinary. But the more extraordinary part is that 3 children will be able to go to private school for a year because of that, which changes lives, communities, and trickling down, hopefully changing the world a bit. So I feel that I don't want to be this grieving widow in a black lace shawl, miserable and making the world terrible. And, you know, that reflects upon my children. If I'm a disaster and I'm miserable and not okay, they're going to feel it, and they're not, and I don't want that for them. I want them to be happy. So I feel that grieving in a positive way is, for me, a better way of dealing with it. But again, people can deal with it any way they choose or
Right.
not.
Right. Yeah. How old was your son, if you don't mind me asking?
He was 4.5 months old when he
Oh,
passed
wow.
away. Yeah, he was really little.
Yeah. When something like that happens, because you have 5 children, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about conversing situations like that when your kids are so young?
So my kids are a very, like, I think Melania was 13, Rose was 11, and Nikolai was like 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then the twins. I am pretty open and honest. I don't hide things. It was a very difficult time. I started taking sleeping pills during the day just to like numb myself. My marriage to my kid's dad ended, which was very difficult, but you know, we got through it and we're still a family. You know, we still co-parent, and he and Ken were really great friends. And the 3 of us were, you know, wonderful parents together. And my kids were really blessed to have 2 dads that loved them and, you know, spent time together. I think just being honest with your kids, it's so funny because, you know, we give these lectures to our children. I don't know if you have any children yet, but
I don't. My mom is very disappointed, but no, I don't have any yet.
Okay. Well, one day.
One day.
I thought that, you know, giving lectures was, you know, not lectures, but talks on don't doing drugs, don't do alcohol, you know, work hard, all that stuff. I thought that was kind of like what we're supposed to do as parents, but it was so interesting. My daughter Rose had said to me a few years ago that my lectures were quite useless, but my example of how my work ethic, how I treat people, how I deal with things, how I try to be positive was much more impactful to her. And so that was really interesting to hear, that I really did not know how much my actions, you know, reflected upon myself and on my kids, that they really do look at every little thing you do. And that was, I've had kids forever, and that shocked me. I really was blown away by what she had said to me. So Thank goodness that, you know, she said, you know, we've never seen you drunk or high. I guess they missed that part when I was taking the sleeping pills when their brother died, but
right, yeah.
All right, hit it well.
Yeah.
Maybe I just was quiet and they liked it. They were like, oh, she's chilled out for a minute. It's you know, being a parent is a great thing, but it's 24/7. It really is.